They said you can't turn a hoe into a housewife,
Well, we've proven them wrong.
but
We're still keeping it nasty.
This is the Host to Housewives podcast. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Host to Housewives podcast. I'm Katie.
I'm Keenan.
And this is episode 7.
Yay, episode 7.
On our way to 10.
Oh, yeah, we're getting there.
I'm going to keep my shades on because it's very bright over here.
Yeah, one day we'll, I don't know, do something with these windows.
Or we'll just podcast in the studio.
Or, yeah, and we're going to set up a studio in the office. We just haven't gotten there yet. That's okay.
It'll happen.
It's fine.
So today, let's get controversial.
Ooh, okay.
Let's make some people mad.
Ooh, my favorite thing to do.
I love the war on social media of the trad wives versus the boss babes, the girl bosses.
All
right. So now coming from someone who worked corporate, had a high level job, and now you're a stay-at-home wife.
Yeah.
What do you think benefited you? What do you think that you got the most out of life-wise?
From like working corporate?
Well, being like, do you feel like you had more enjoyment, you had more fulfillment when you worked?
Oh gosh.
Or do you feel like you have more fulfillment now?
So whenever I left, January of 2024, I think was my last day, I was in what I would consider my dream job. JJ had been asking me to leave my job for like 2 years, and I just could not do it. For a lot of reasons.
Okay. What were those reasons?
I think the autonomy of being able to provide for yourself should you need to.
Okay.
It was very hard for me to consider giving that up.
Okay.
I had been a single mom for so long and doing it on my own, and it wasn't easy. And I just couldn't imagine like giving up how I provided for my children should something happen. And I could not wrap my head around trusting him, even though he had always proved himself to me. It was very hard to trust that if I gave up my job, that I would not be at the mercy of him. And that's very hard for me. Anybody that knows anything about me knows the things that I struggled with in the past and past relationships. And so I don't like to be controlled.
Yeah.
And I did not want my lack of job to give my husband the opportunity to control me.
Right.
And in my crazy head, I was telling myself that basically maybe he was just waiting for the opportunity to control me, right?
Right.
Even though he had never given any indication whatsoever that he was ever going to try to do that.
You were just fearful.
I was very fearful because of the things I'd experienced in the past. I was working 7 days a week. I was basically on call. I was doing everything for everyone, in my opinion. And I was just running myself ragged for this company. And even though they were wonderful to me, don't get me wrong, there were just a few bad apples here and there. I was just like, I'm beating myself to death and going through all of this for what? But I honestly, all of that, all it ever did was give me depression, anxiety, and burnout. And then I didn't have anything left when I got home for my kids, for my husband. I was irritable. I was cranky. Even my off time, I didn't know how to shut it off.
Yeah.
With all that being said, it was a weird decision, like an epiphany that I had that day, that I was like, I don't have to keep doing this to myself. I don't have to do this anymore. Like, my husband has been telling me for 2 years, you can stop working. We don't have to keep living like this. And I just could not do it. But then that day, like, that situation happened and I was done. And I don't regret it at all.
Yeah.
Like, the way that life is now is so completely different. Now, in my past relationships, if they would have offered that and I would have done it, it would not have turned out the way that it's turned out now.
Right.
Because it would have been chaotic and used against me, that I didn't work, I didn't pull my weight, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. And now my job is house. I mean, I'm house manager.
Yeah.
I don't know another way to say it. I'm house manager.
Yeah.
I know where all the kids are going and when and where and everything that's coming up and when JJ has appointments and all those things.
But you did that while you had a job.
But I did that while I had a job also. And so I was in survival mode for so long, from the time that, basically Gage's dad and I split up to marrying JJ. I was in survival mode, and I was in this masculine space where I was the breadwinner, and I didn't have a choice. I was the breadwinner. I was the chauffeur. I was the everything. Granted, Gage was with his dad half the time, but I always had Aiden minus maybe 3 times a year when he would go to Idaho to visit his dad. And so I was mom and dad. And it was exhausting. And I didn't even really realize that it was exhausting.
Right. And so do you feel like you were more fulfilled in your dream job, or do you feel like you're more fulfilled, like your cup? Was your cup overflowing at your dream job? Or is your cup overflowing now?
No, my cup never overflowed with my dream job because it really wasn't my dream. It was the dream that I had to have so I could provide for my kids.
Okay.
It wasn't a real dream.
Is house manager your dream job now?
Being emotionally and physically present with my husband and my kids, it was always my dream.
Okay.
My whole dream, ever since I had Aiden, was to have a family, to have a husband, and to be normal. I think a lot of the debate online is, and I'm not talking about, bitch, you went to Harvard and you're a fucking corporate attorney making $300 grand,
right?
And all you've ever wanted to be was a lawyer,
right?
Okay, and like you're changing lives, or you're a surgeon. I'm not talking about a true career. So, I mean, for me now, this is all I ever wanted, was a chance to not have to be the one bringing home all the money, not having to be the one doing it all, and not being present for my kids. And so now I am. And Gage has about 5 years left of school, and I'm so thankful that I get to I don't have to miss anything. I don't have to travel for work anymore. I don't have to miss anything. And he's my last one. I wish I would have had it sooner, but it's just such a really true blessing that JJ was able to give this to me, because it was such a gift. Because I've been working since I was 15, 16 years old, and just trying to survive, and to not be in survival mode after all these years, like, it was a really weird feeling. Like, really weird. It was an odd thing to adjust to.
The thing, like, for me, when Joey and I got together, right, I flew, but I also come from, I'm a flight attendant. My mom was a flight attendant. Right. My dad was a pilot. My mom never worked. She'd do like a Boston turn a month. Like, she never worked. And so, like, for me, going to be a flight attendant, I flew, but I didn't fly that much, and I never have. And but I told Joey from the beginning, I said, I will never not work. Okay. Because my job is not every day.
Sure.
And I have the flexibility. If we, we're going through contract negotiations, whatever, if with the next contract we lose flexibility, the job will become not worth it.
Right.
And then I will not work, because the whole purpose is I'm not going to be at someone else's beck and call.
Right.
I'm coming here to make money to pay for my boat, and that's it.
That's it.
And then that's all you're going to get from me.
Yeah.
Because my full-time life is more important than my part-time job.
Right.
And so, like, I think it's funny on the internet when, the trad wives are like, I stay at home and I do this and I do this, and like, oh, I'm oppressed. It's so horrible to go to Pilates at 8 a.m. every day, whatever. And then you have the boss babes, the feminists online that are like, you're brainwashed, you're, make your own money, a man's going to leave you. But that comes from that toxic feminism.
Right.
That obviously you don't have a masculine man to make you feel feminine, right?
Or they've been through an experience where they were manipulated financially.
Right. There's always something.
Right. There's a reason.
Because I do believe that a woman shouldn't have to work.
If they don't want to.
If they don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a woman, like, as a wife, as a mom, your duties, your life duties are at home.
Right.
They're to your husband. They're to your kids.
Yeah.
Not to Mr. CEO.
Right.
Realistically, that's not, to me, that's oppression.
I 100% agree. Because, for example, taking PTO. Well, depending on what kind of job you're in, sometimes that PTO will only be like, okay, I'm gonna take a Friday and a Monday, right? So I can have 4 days, because I don't want to take 4 days during the week because I'm gonna come back to a shit show,
Right.
or I'm gonna be looked down upon because I took time off. And that's so wild to me. I mean, I went through it. I did it, right? Because like for the longest time, I would only take a Friday and a Monday off.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, if I'm gone too long. But then I would work at the same time. Like, even though I was on PTO, I would still work.
And your duties were to some CEO of the company that you were working for.
Right.
You weren't able to give all of yourself
to
your family.
Your job can take up a lot of space in your brain, especially a stressful job. And there are so many stressful jobs, whether it's one that has a really weird sleep schedule. Sometimes you're on nights and days and it's shift work, especially like a nurse who maybe works shift work. There's just it takes up a lot of space.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to be everything to everyone and bring home a paycheck, fucking exhausting.
I think something both the feminists and the trad wives have it a little bit wrong.
Sure. Okay.
The trad wives love to use this idea, this scripture, Proverbs 31, and it's about the perfect biblical woman.
Okay.
Right? And talks about how she submits to her husband, she tends the fields, whatever. And they're like, but I'm being a biblical woman by staying home and taking care of my family. Right.
Okay.
And that's a lot, not all of them, but this is the excuse that I see, or the justification that I see a lot of trad wives use. But you're wrong, because she went out and sold her stuff. She had a job she provided, and she still did the things around the house.
Right.
The difference was she's not letting her job, her, tending the fields, whatever, going to the market, selling her stuff, overcome herself, taking care of her family, taking care of her husband.
Yeah.
And the feminists are like, I'm not taking care of a man. He can take care of himself. I'm gonna take care of me, right?
Right.
You wrong too.
Yeah.
Submit to your husband. It doesn't mean he's gotta tell you what to do and own your life.
I think submission is, I think it's been kind of misconstrued along the way, like what that actually means. Like, to me, it may mean something completely different than what it means to you.
Okay, so what does it mean to you?
So, like, I wouldn't necessarily say like I'm submissive or I submit to my husband, but at the end of the day, like, he's the head of our household, regardless if I'm the house manager. Okay. Like, he's the head of our household. He's the man. That's his job.
Yep.
And so even if we disagree, like, it's not always, well, just because he's the head of the household, it's his way or no way. Right? Like, there is no, like, we actually talk about everything, and he probably wouldn't say that I'm submissive at all, because we're more like, we're a partnership. Is it,
No, for sure.
And so, like, I think when and a lot of this gets very wonky when you're talking about it, right? Because it's like all over the place. But like, I don't use the word submissive in our marriage.
You use the word obey?
No.
You wouldn't use that either?
No, I wouldn't use that either. We are true partners. So we literally, like, any big decisions we make together. But there are certain things that he's better at than I am.
If you guys are in a standstill.
Okay.
And neither one of you think that you're wrong.
Okay.
You've talked about it. You've had conversations. Who's going to give in first? Or who's going to submit to the other?
I think it depends on what you've come to a head about, right?
Okay, then let's talk about the 3 things that people divorce over.
Okay.
Because these are top serious things. Money.
Always.
Your husband wants to take half of your entire life savings and invest it. What do you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
We already went through that. In situations like that, I trust him to build a business.
Okay.
And so when he came to me and said that, I said, okay, I trust you.
Okay, so you are submissive when it comes to money.
But we had a conversation about it.
But you let him have the final say.
I did let him have the final say.
Okay. Sex.
That was a compromise, I think.
Okay. But you compromised with yourself, right? You changed things.
I had to see where I was wrong. I had to see where I wasn't pulling my own weight.
Okay. So maybe you're submissive in sex too. And I'm not talking like dom submissive. I'm not talking that kind of dynamic.
I'm not talking BDSM or some shit.
I'm talking, you said, you know what? I got to meet my husband where he is. I got to make this happen. You were submissive to your husband in sex.
But he was submissive to me.
Yeah.
Because there were things that I needed that he wasn't providing.
Right.
That he had to bring to the table in order for me to give back.
Yeah, this is not a one-way street here.
Right. It's not a one-way street.
We're talking a submissive wife and a respectful husband.
Sure.
We're not talking just a submissive wife.
Right, of course. Yeah.
And in-laws?
Oh, mine are wonderful.
Well, but you also just told me a story that JJ's gonna stand up for you with his mom. You stand up for JJ with your mom. You guys always put each other first.
Yeah, I guess the good thing is my mom loves JJ more than she loves me. So
essentially, you could say that you are submissive to your husband in the big three things.
Sure, but I would say that depending on the situation, he is to me too.
Right, because it's not a one-way street. I think that you have come from a survival mode.
Sure.
And you don't like the idea of giving up complete control to your husband.
I don't like giving up complete control ever about anything. I always like to have a little bit of control. But I think I've always been that way.
Yeah.
Like even prior to having kids, probably.
But I think that you lived in such a masculine energy for so long that it's hard for you to say that you would submit to your husband. I truly think that.
Probably because I feel like the word submission just has such a negative connotation associated with it.
But in reality, like submitting to your husband is just essentially being vulnerable.
Agreed.
Letting them lead you.
And he does. And he's a wonderful leader. Like, and don't get me wrong, he's not perfect. He's made mistakes. We've fought, we've made errors, right? Like nobody's perfect. But I mean, absolutely. I trust him completely to lead us. Like I trust him to do all the things.
Yeah.
Driving, not so much.
No, of course not.
His driving drives. Oh my God, I can't even.
That's
a whole other episode.
Like for me, I strive to be submissive to my husband, and I want to obey him. It was in our vows. We said those, and I meant them.
I have no idea what we said in ours, but sure. I have no clue. We got married by a judge. Okay. No clue.
But coming from the feminist that I was,
okay,
it was hard for me to say that I would be submissive to my husband. But when I said those things, that I will obey you and trust you to lead us, like I meant them, and I try to strive for it every day. It's hard for me to say, I trust you to do whatever. Like Joey, we were talking the other day, he wants to invest some money in something. I'm a stickler about money. I spend it, right? But like, you want to put it in what?
You want to do what?
And I was like, and I had to be like, you know what? I trust you to make the decisions for our family, and I'm gonna let you do it. That's just one thing,
right? But
like, there's so much controversy on the internet about women not working, women working, like you said, trying to give up that control and that form of being able to provide for yourself. And I feel like when you are in a safe marriage where your husband is masculine and you are able to be feminine, you're not going to have that need to control every aspect because you're giving it to your husband.
100%.
And I feel like that's where the feminists are like, they're not in a place where they can be safe and feminine.
I agree. I do truly feel that if you are not in a safe relationship or even in a relationship at all, you have no choice but to be in that masculine energy and all of that. Now, some people have had aspirations since they came out of the womb. I never had that.
Yeah.
Like that was never like, and everybody's obviously born different. And, but yeah, I've never had any like these big true aspirations to be this thing, right?
Yeah, this boss babe. This
I had to do it because I had to do it. And, the person that I am now, a year and 7 months since I retired, I feel like I'm a completely different person in a good way.
Yeah.
Like I'm a better wife.
Yeah.
I am a better mother.
Yeah.
Because I would bring home my frustrations from work. And whatever was lingering or the stress that I felt, or if I thought, okay, well, my numbers suck today, could I get fired tomorrow? Because that's a real thing. Like these motherfuckers will just fire you over anything. And so, when you're in a situation like that and everything feels so chaotic, I had a short temper. I was angry, like the house being dirty, even though everybody says it was never dirty, dirty in Keenan standards. All of those things, like I would just snap so easy. The kids being loud, the TV going, all of these things, it was overstimulating for me.
And your nervous system was operating so high.
So high.
So now you live a softer life.
Much softer.
You aren't operating in anxiety. You aren't operating, you aren't trying to be everything to everyone.
No, I only have to be to my family. And sometimes when you're in a management role, and you're guiding a team, you take that team and all aspects of their life. Yeah. And you want to help them however you can. If they're going through a divorce, they've got this going on. They've got childcare issues. They have this, they have that. And when you've been through all of that and you're an empathetic person, like you take on all of their emotions and all of their problems and compile that with, just being in a high stress job.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't my best.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't the best version of me.
Yeah.
And he could see what my job was doing to me. And he wanted to take that burden off. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it took me a long time to adjust to not feeling like I was contributing. And he's like, do you understand that I could not be who I am without you? Mm-hmm. Because I take care of everything. That man has never washed towels, sheets. Now, before I quit working, I didn't do his laundry. That was where I drew the line. So yeah, like I do everything around here, but I'm not washing your laundry. I'm not your mother. And I work full time and I'm not doing it. That's where I drew the line.
But don't you guys share a hamper?
No.
You don't share a hamper?
No. I'm sorry. But my husband is a sweaty man. He's in the gym all day. I do not want his funk on my Viore joggers. Get the fuck off me. No, you can't. We're not mixing clothes. We don't wash our clothes together.
Seriously?
No. I hate to each their own.
That's interesting to me.
You and Joey just have one hamper?
Yeah.
God, a bunch of freaks, man.
I mean, his work clothes with all that nasty chemical go by themselves.
Well, that's basically how it started because, he was in all these clothes that were, like out and doing construction and all this stuff. And so his clothes were just over here. And so that's kind of how it started. But like, I have a hamper and he has a hamper and my clothes go in one. And now I do his laundry now.
Well, yeah.
But
you still share a hamper.
We do not share a hamper.
It's interesting.
No. I go through clothes like a crazy person.
3 times a day.
Literally. Yeah. And he is like, picks it up off the floor and he's like, no, it smells fine.
Literally.
It smells fine. I don't know if it's dirty or clean. It's fine. I'm gonna wear this today. And I'm like, huh? What are you talking about? Like, I swear that was just in a hamper. He's like, nah, it's fine. It's all good. And I'm like, ew, no. Yeah. So, like there were things like that, but like, I just don't like, now I do everything.
Well, yeah.
Cause I don't work. So yeah, but I only have to do his laundry. Like I swear like every other week. Like, he doesn't go through clothes like I go through clothes.
I think that if you are a stay-at-home wife, right? You are a stay-at-home wife and you have a job to do around the house.
Yeah.
I notice when I go to work, my job around the house suffers because I'm not there. I mean, granted, like I'm not home every night, so it's a little bit different. Like I leave and things literally sit for days.
Right.
But my home life, my job around the house suffers. And don't get me wrong, Joey travels for work too, and he does. He cooks, he cleans, he does the laundry.
He's been gone for 14 days now or something like that.
So like he does also pick up the slack. We are partners in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't just expect me to go to work and also do everything.
Do all the things, yeah.
So, but when I'm home and I'm not working a lot, I do most of the stuff. We believe in gender roles in my household.
Okay.
I don't take out the trash. I don't change the oil in my car.
Yeah.
We have boy and girl jobs.
Yeah.
And I do all of the girl jobs. He does all of the boy jobs. Obviously, one of us isn't home, then we're obviously picking up the slack.
Right.
Because I do have a job.
Right.
And he has a job, but home is also both of our jobs, both of our responsibility.
Of course.
So I feel like the stay-at-home wives, like that is your job. And like you said, if you went to Harvard and you are some big time attorney or surgeon or whatever, you have a career, like baby, more power to you.
Mine was just a job.
That's amazing. Like obviously there are things that are going to be more important, but like I feel like as women, we should never prioritize our job over our home life, just as women in general.
Yeah.
If you're single.
Yeah.
If you're a single mom.
I'm not married. Like, yeah.
You're in a shitty marriage. Your husband doesn't provide.
Unless your husband's a stay-at-home husband, rock on.
Right. Like, but there has to be a mutual respect. And I think that's what's missing in a lot of marriages that tout, oh, I'm a stay-at-home wife. I have, my husband gives me an allowance. That's weird. That's weird.
We don't do anything like that.
That's weird.
Now, if there's a big purchase to be made, like we have that discussion.
Yeah.
And he's not going to just go buy something big. Actually, I take that back. He probably would.
Yeah.
I would not. Like, I don't. I'm a small spender, but a lot. He's a big spender once or twice, like, or, like.
But that's a mutual respect. You're having a conversation like, hey, we share a bank account. This is the money that we have earned together. Mm-hmm. We're free to spend it how we see fit. But we're gonna have a conversation, or I'm not gonna go and spend, $30,000 on something that isn't gonna benefit us.
Right.
I'm not gonna just go and invest money and not talk to you.
Right.
I'm gonna buy shit on Amazon and not say shit because I'm gonna buy it on Amazon. Okay, it is what it is.
I know.
But I'm not gonna go and buy a brand new computer.
Right. Without talking.
Right. And so I think that's where like the mutual respect comes in. It's not about being a stay-at-home wife or being a working wife. It's about mutual respect in your relationship and what you're able to make work. Because if you're just sitting there and you're doing stuff and your husband gives you an allowance, like says this is the only money that you're allowed to spend,
right?
And it's not a budget, because a budget is different.
A budget's different, yeah.
But if he's like, here's your paycheck for taking care of the kids, this is what you get to spend.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
You get to go to work, and this is the money. That's weird. That's weird to me. That's oppression. That's where I get, okay, you're not. That's not a safe space. That's not a safe marriage. You got to start sticking some money away. That's manipulation.
And, and the other thing is to, like, I was watching a TikTok earlier, and it was a girl, and she was documenting, because she said, I'm pretty sure I'm about to get a divorce. Like, this is a private account. I'm just documenting that it's now 12:30 in the afternoon. My husband is still asleep. He stayed up till 5 a.m. playing video games. I need to get dressed. I've already done everything that I can do. I need to go in my bedroom and get dressed. But if I go in there and wake him up, he's going to make my life hell the rest of the day. She's a stay-at-home mom. She does everything. And he played video games till 5 a.m. and was still asleep at almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. No. We about to Dixie chick his ass. You know what I'm saying?
Literally. Like, goodbye, Earl.
Goodbye. We're about to get rid of you. Like, that is not
healthy.
That is not healthy.
Or
that
safe.
Is completely different. Completely different. I never recommend giving up your autonomy if you're not in a safe, healthy relationship. Mm-hmm. And I do understand that things can change.
Yes.
So therefore, that's when you need to start making that plan, right? Mm-hmm. You need to start planning. You never make any rash decisions. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, if you're choosing to be a stay-at-home mom, like, you have to have a partner who, when they come home in the evening, isn't checked out. Oh, well, I've been at work all day, so I need time to myself. Bitch, I've had these kids, one on my tit and one on my hip all day. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not about to just sit here while you relax and drink a beer and play your video games, and you haven't even spent any time with your children. That's not a real man and not a real husband. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not even, no. Because a mom's job never ends. It's a 24/7 thing. And if you don't have a good partner who, when they come home, isn't like, babe, go take an hour to yourself, because he got a lunch break today. Mm-hmm. You didn't. Go take an hour, go take a hot bath. I'll take care of the kids. It has to be a true partnership. It cannot be you do everything from sun up to sundown and you resent your partner because they have all of this free time and they're, doing them while you're drowning.
What kind of advice would you give to someone who wants to leave the corporate world and have a softer life? What kind of advice would you give to a couple if that's what they wanted to do? Because the economy's tough. Shit's rough out there.
It's very, very tough.
A lot of people need 2 incomes.
Absolutely.
So if someone said, I really want to quit my job, like, my husband has a good job, but we rely on my income, but my family needs me at home.
I think in situations like that, like, you have to first plan for it. Mm-hmm. What can we cut back on? But also, like, are you spending money on daycare? Because daycare is not cheap. Mm-mm. You're talking sometimes upwards of $2,000 a month, and that may just be for one kid. So how much, and I watched a video on this the other day, break it down. Like, how much are you spending on childcare, and what's left out of your check, and is it worth it?
Is it worth it?
So let's say you're bringing home $4,000 a month, and you pay $2,000 a month in childcare. And, you have to have all these extra things in order so you can go to work. You're spending money on gas. You're spending on money for lunch. Like, how much is that paycheck really benefiting you? Mm-hmm. Right? Because do you need after school care because you don't get off in time? You have to break it all down and actually see if having that extra job is just paying for you to not be at home. And do you only need that job because you have all these extra expenses because you aren't at home? Mm-hmm. Like, you've got gas and the commute, and you've got this and you've got that, because inner city living is not cheap.
Right.
So if you have to drive 45 minutes to get to work, and you sit in traffic, and your husband's doing the same, and you have after school care, and you have summer camps and all these things, because, like, it adds up. And so is it really worth it? And can you really afford, if you aren't working and you're cutting back on all of these things, can you really afford to do it? Because you don't want to put yourself in a financial situation. Mm-mm. But if that is something that you want to do, you need to figure out how you're going to afford it, right? What can you cut back on? Do you really need that Tahoe that's $80,000, but you bought it because you could afford it? Can you trade that in and get something cheaper, so you can afford to stay? Where can you make cuts?
can you get a part-time job that doesn't require 9 to 5, 7 days a week or 5 days a week, that you can be home, you can go and make a little bit of money to support whatever, you can come home and be with your kids. Where to me it's like, what is the value of being home with your children?
And I've seen a lot of women say, I could never be a stay-at-home mom. I love my job. I cannot be home with my kids all day. It would drive me bonkers. I get that. Absolutely. Because it is not for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, especially in those younger years when you're not sleeping, like sometimes just having that mental break and going to work is the only break that you get, because it is stressful raising kids. I mean, it just is. And you don't always get the kid that you think you're going to get. And sometimes that kid doesn't sleep or doesn't eat right or has this or has that. So, you have to weigh the pros and the cons. If money isn't an issue, your husband banks and you bank and y'all been working, and he's like, you don't have to work if you don't want to work. And you finally reach that point where you're like, okay, you're right. I don't want to work anymore. Maybe we're going to start trying to have kids or whatever. I agree. You have to know what type of marriage you're in, and if that is going to be something that is later going to be an issue thrown in your face. Yeah. Because the last thing you want is to give up your job, be a stay-at-home wife, mom, and then a year down the road, he's coming home and telling you you're a lazy piece of shit. You have to know the man you married. And you have to know how he handles situations when things are tough.
Yeah.
Because it can be, the economy fucking sucks. Mm-hmm. And if, things get stressful at his job, is he going to come home and treat you like shit? Right. Be like, oh, well, you were at home all day, you lazy piece of shit, and I was out working. And if he's going to be throwing it in your face constantly, one, get a divorce anyways. But like, that's not a situation you want to put yourself in.
Mm-hmm. You know what I think is funny? Your husband literally just posted yesterday that video that said the biggest flex a man can have is for his wife to not have to work for anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that is.
And I see a lot of men say that, and they don't mean it like they want a wife barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, like slaving away, you know what I mean? Just popping out a kid every year. That's not what all of them mean. I think a lot of them mean basically they don't want someone else to control their wife's time. But nothing is worth your health. No. You don't get any of this time back.
Nothing's worth your health, nothing's worth your marriage, and nothing's worth your family.
No, nothing.
In my opinion. So
in my opinion either.
If you are in a situation where you feel like you are trying to justify working, and that's what I think that a lot of it is. Now, this does not go for the women who have degrees and they're working in their field and they're killing it and they're doing all that stuff.
I'm talking about a job.
I'm talking about a job. Career. I'm talking about you go and you work for the CEO and you just, whatever.
Yeah, you just do your thing, yeah.
If you're trying to justify having to work, it's because you're not in your feminine, your man ain't masculine, and I'm sorry, that's just the way that it is.
Right. And I get the economy. I totally get that part, right? Because things are so expensive, and they're only getting more and more expensive as we get through the years and all this shit. So I don't even know. But, and I know every situation is different, right? You can't judge it off everybody. But this has been the biggest blessing for me.
Yeah.
To not have to go to work every day and answer to somebody else. Mm-hmm. And people are like, don't you have your own dreams? And I'm like, no. My dream, my goal in life is to support him because he's the one building everything. So no, I just want to be a good wife and a good mom. Like that is my dream.
And that's a good dream.
And there's nothing wrong with that dream.
No, that is.
If I was a surgeon, he would be like, girl, you do you. Like,
you could sell feet pictures. That man be like, yes.
Oh, he's already been like, I'll hold the camera. He's like, what do you want to do? But I mean, I just say that because like everybody's aspirations are different, right? Mm-hmm. And I used to think it was this, and ultimately it was always this.
Yeah.
It's really changed my whole like perspective. And then I feel like I'm a better wife, a better mom, a better friend. I'm a little bit more attentive to everything around me now because like I don't have all of this other stuff taking up space in my brain that really at the end of the day didn't mean anything because they'll replace you. You could die, sit at your desk. They're going to clean it out tomorrow and they're going to find somebody to replace you because as it's been said a million times, you're replaceable at work, but you're not replaceable at home.
Yeah.
And if you're running yourself into the ground for these people who literally you're just a number to, like they don't care about you. It doesn't matter what they say. They do not care about you, not the way your family does. So sometimes you just have to say, you know what, just fuck it. I'm out. Peace out.
So, Hoda Housewife tip of the week. Make sure that your full-time life comes before your full-time, part-time job.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are replaceable at work. You are not replaceable at home.
100%.
Figure out how to make it work for you.
Yeah.
So that you prioritize your home life, your marriage, your family.
Even if you feel like you don't deserve it.
But we talked about being a wife is an honored position.
It really is.
It's a job in itself.
It is a job in itself. Yeah.
And we've been programmed to not think that.
Right.
But it is. And it's a prestigious title.
And in a healthy relationship, marriage is amazing. Marriage is awesome. It is for me. Mm-hmm. I love marriage. I never not want to be married to this man. Like, ever.
I know that you are very strong-willed and very type A controlling type. But hearing you talk, I know you don't like to hear it, but you are submissive to your husband.
I'm sure. I'm just never going to say it out loud.
You talking about giving yourself, you are his person, he is your person.
Absolutely,
yeah. You are
I'm pretty sure I can't function without him. See? Like, I don't think that I can. I don't want to.
You're just stubborn and sassy, so you'll never admit it.
I'm super stubborn. But you're probably never going to hear me say submissive. But, I mean, it's a hard term, I think, to let flow out of your mouth after a really long time of not being that way.
Yeah.
But,
I think you are.
But with a good man, I mean, it's definitely doable, and, I've got a good one, and I know that,
He's a good man, Savannah.
He's a good man, Savannah.
Well, it's been super fun.
Yeah. And I'm sure that we'll probably end up having this conversation a lot. I feel like in my head when we have this conversation on a regular basis, because we do talk about it frequently, we usually say it more eloquently. And I felt like today we were kind of all over the place with kind of our thoughts or whatever. So I'm sure we'll talk about it again.
I think you can always talk about this.
Always. Yeah.
I mean, I could say some really not nice stuff, but I'll feel about it. But because I think that feminists are masculine, and if you were living in your feminine, you would agree.
Probably so. And like I said, I think a lot of people who aren't, or they don't really have a choice. And some people could be raised in a household where their dad wasn't present, and so men have never been this strong leader like image in their presence. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't experience it.
You always have the soft side to if I say something crazy. You're like, okay, but we know that not everyone is in this. We know that it's okay, and everyone has different. And I'm like, nah, fuck that.
I know, but I think it comes from like always having to be like politically correct, because there is no one way.
Right.
I think because I've lived so many different ways, and I had to be that way at that point in time, or I didn't have a choice, or whatever the reason is. Everybody has their reasons why they live the way that they do, or why they do the things that they do, or the way that they do them. And we'll never understand everybody. Right? So,
but still, if you're living in this masculine survival mode,
yeah, you don't have a choice,
and you're justifying it. It's better over here.
It can be, yeah. It can definitely be better with the right partner.
Yeah. See, always.
I know.
You always got to smooth it out.
Well, I like to smooth it out because I don't want anybody to think like that the way you're doing things is wrong. Because every now and then there's going to be that case where like this is their ambition. Like,
right.
Because some women don't want to be mothers. Some women don't want to be wives. And some people don't want to be in a committed relationship. I watch a lot of women say like, I love dating. I love that whole thing, but I want to sleep alone. I don't want your stuff in my space. I like to be like, and you don't know their whole story, right? You don't know the background, so you don't know why they are this way.
But do you not think it's just because they have not had a healthy, safe situation that allows them to let go of that?
Sure. But I also think that there are women that they've either seen way too many bad things that they never want to be in a situation like that, or they just don't believe that that's what they need in order to complete them. And I think that that's okay, because not every woman is the same. Not every woman has the same aspirations, the same wants, the same desires. And that's the great thing about living in America. You can literally be whoever the fuck you want to be. I mean, apparently now you can be an animal if you want to be an animal. I mean, like,
and that's a mental illness.
I mean, I'm just saying you can be what you want to be, apparently, in this day and age. So like, you don't have to want to be a mom or a wife or to live with a man. Like, I don't know. But for me, I only was that way because I didn't have another choice. But I did always want to find my person. Like, I always wanted to know what it was like to be married to your best friend, to have that relationship, and to have a family. Because I did already have kids, but I didn't feel like I had that complete unit. And then when I finally got it, it exceeded my expectations. Once we worked out all the kinks, right?
But like for me, before I met Joey, I didn't want to get married.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to live in New York City. I'm going to travel the world. I'm going
Did we
to.
all have that dream at one point? Because I swear I had it before I had kids. Like I was like, I want to live in New York. I want to travel. I want to do this. I want to do that. Like I want to be free.
So that's what I'm saying. Before you had it, before I met Joey, and before I was like, oh, I can let my guard down and let him take care of me. I was like, I'm not going to get married. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to adopt a teenager so that I won't be alone. I'll have a child because I'm not going to get married and have kids until I knew what it was actually like. And so that's where I'm saying the women, not if you went to Harvard and you got a career, okay?
I don't know why we keep using Harvard. There's like a million other schools out there, but
the women who are trying to justify, and I'm not talking like you have to because you're in survival mode. The women who try to justify it just haven't experienced the other side yet. So that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Like I'm cutting it off. Like you just don't know. The grass is not greener over there. The grass is actually greener with a man who takes care of you and you can be submissive
or a woman,
to.
depending on what you're in. Whatever.
Like if you are sitting here trying to justify feminism, like baby, you just haven't experienced real femininity.
Yeah.
That's where I'm coming from. And that might piss some people off, but that's where I'm coming from because that's my experience and that's basically your experience too.
Yeah, I mean 100%.
And you're not required to be submissive to a man immediately.
No, it takes trust.
It takes trust. So it's not that you have to just immediately get in this marriage and things are going to be perfectly hunky dory. Like right. It's a respect. It's a two-way street.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. But I mean, you just proven my point. You're just saying it more eloquently than me. Okay, you got trauma.
Yeah, and trauma can hinder you from a lot of things. And I hate to use the word trauma because I'm no victim.
No.
Right. You know, I played a hand in everything that ever happened to me. The decisions that I made, the actions that I took, the things I did or didn't do, they all led to where I am. Right. I'm no victim. Mm-hmm. But you do experience things throughout your life that alter your brain chemistry and that make you make different decisions, put walls up. And without working through that, and mind you, I've never been to therapy. So this is all working this stuff out through just my own self-awareness. Like, bitch, you are crazy. Why are you crazy? Why do you feel this way? Like, fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
Because like this man's the best thing that's ever happened to you. And if you don't figure it out, you are going to make your own worst fears come true and you're going to lose them. Whether you get a divorce or not, you can damage your marriage beyond repair and then just be roommates. And I never want that.
Because you were living in a survival mode in your masculine energy. You couldn't be feminine until now.
Right. And now I am. I do want to say this though, like because of the relationship that we have now, how we are, I always want him to be proud to be seen with me.
Yes.
I never want him, because you know what my husband looks like. He's top tier, baby. He's top tier. My husband is fine. And so like, I make sure that all the things that he loves about me, I keep top tier.
Yeah.
And that also includes my mental health, like making sure that I feel good about myself so I don't sink into some sort of depression that's going to affect our marriage. Mm-hmm. So I feel like my presence is a reflection of our marriage. And so I luckily, you know, have this time that he's given me to make sure that I'm able to prioritize myself so I can prioritize him. Mm-hmm. And that, you know, we just keep this sexiness going until we can't anymore.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Meanwhile, I'm over here. I can't be bothered to put on any makeup every day.
But the thing is, it's like, that's different. You're not a makeup girl. You know what I mean? Like, you've never been a makeup girly. So what Joey sees is what he's always seen. If I was to suddenly just stop wearing makeup every day and stop putting effort into my appearance, that would be abnormal from what he knows of me.
Right. Okay.
Because from the moment we've met, this is who I am. I try not to let that fall to the wayside, no matter how I feel. I don't feel like me if I don't get up, take a shower, put my makeup on, fix my hair. Even if my hair's pulled back in a clip, like I have to feel good about my presence, my presentation. And so I make that a priority.
Yeah.
And that's just something that I do. And it's kind of the same thing from him. He's not going to go out and just suddenly stop going to the gym and get a dad bod because that's not what I know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, you never want to stop being attractive to your partner.
Exactly. You always want your partner to still be attracted to you. So you have to remain attractive to them. Obviously, bodies change. We get older. We have babies. We get stretch marks. We get this, we get that. That's different. I'm not talking about that. But I am talking about putting effort, whatever that looks like, into yourself. So, because it's a reflection of your partner.
Yeah.
And not everybody may agree with that. Like, oh, well, my husband loves me whether I look like trash or whether I look like this. Mine too. Okay. Like, I wake up in the morning looking like I stuck my finger in a light socket. This curly hair, this doesn't wake up cute, okay? This wakes up looking like a hot fucking mess. And my face is red and splotchy. I sleep crazy. Like, I'm not a morning person. I need a minute. So with that being said though, like that's another reason, like you just have to make sure that you just keep that thing, whatever that thing is between you and your partner. All right. Well, it's been fun.
It's been fun.
Yeah. So thanks for watching, you guys. And we'll see you back next week for episode 8.
Bye.